Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be another reading about the militarization of our cities. Now, back in, when did I start doing these readings? Like July, August, and even into September, I was getting like, there was this buildup, but yet nothing happened with that. The Charlie Kirk assassination is a shift. It's a shift in the energy. It's a turning point, and they are, okay, regardless of whether or not that was a manufactured event, those are a whole different set of readings. The bottom line is they are using this event to justify going into these blue cities, these war-torn blue cities, which are not war-torn at all. And the blue states are fighting back. There is a lot of moving parts in this, so I've been trying to decide kind of how I want to organize this. I think I'm going to have like Oregon and California together, because right now that is kind of working in tandem with each other. And then a viewer had asked about if they're going to militarize San Francisco. And it was also asked if I could see if any MAGA or GOP congressional member saw that Quantico meeting and said, hell no, this is not the America, and quit the Trump train. So I will ask that because that's going to go kind of into the military stuff of Trump is also considering invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow him to deploy troops anywhere, regardless of any court order to the contrary. So my initial, feeling on that is he wants to. Oh, he absolutely wants to. And anything that was a hesitation before, that is removed. So anytime I felt hesitation it was literally prior to that Charlie Kirk, and we all saw his face sliding off at 9/11. So did he have a TIA? I mean, it's not exactly, it's not like this administration is exactly forthcoming with any of his medical records. So, was there an event, a health event that day? Was it the Charlie Kirk thing? Whatever it was, there has been a shift in the energy, and the ability that he had, whenever I say ability, to show restraint, that filter's gone. There is no filter. So we now have Trump unfiltered, because it's like, and then you have Stephen Miller, who is feeding him just all of this bullshit and nonsense, and he's believing it. So that's where we have what we have there in the White House. And so, like, when someone asks, is he going to militarize? Yeah. Is he wanting to do the Insurrection Act? Oh, yeah, he wants to. So I'm going to look at, I'm going to be looking at California, Oregon, and Illinois. I may have to do the Illinois Insurrection Act like as a part 2. Let's see kind of where this goes first, because I have a feeling like there's going to be kind of I have a lot of questions. That's what I have. I have a lot of questions, so it may need to be 2 readings. So I want to start with, in Oregon, this is not that any of this is funny at all, but the judge there in Oregon put in a restraining order that said, no, you can't use the Oregon National Guard. So Trump was like, okay, well, we'll use, the California National Guard or Texas, whatever it was. And the judge was like, it was actually Sunday night. So I'm recording these on Monday, the October, 6th. So Sunday night, the judge was like, what part of no did you not understand? Well, every part of no. Trump is not used to being told no. So he doesn't understand the word. And she was like, you cannot use the Oregon National Guard. You can't use the California National Guard. You can't use the Texas National Guard. You're not using any National Guard. Okay. So that's where that is right now. The California is in that ruling. There was, and I'm going to link that because Brian Tyler Cohen went through it with somebody. It was a really good. In fact, I've posted that in the post site. I will link it here for you again, because there was some really great stuff in that. And it's like what this the Ninth Circuit. Do I have that here in? other states are suing for their own restraining orders. And so California, this is where that ruling, there was stuff in that ruling from that judge that said, I hope that the Ninth Circuit, which is handling the California stuff, realizes what's going on here, which is this is a power grab. I really paraphrase, but that's what it is. And that the judge in Oregon sees through that and is putting that kind of verbiage in her ruling, or I think it was a female rulings. And so California, rightfully so, is worried about the upcoming elections, which California is going to be voting on redistricting. So they're concerned about the military. Like, are they going to be, just having the military there in some of those precincts would be considered very threatening. And then ICE, is ICE going to be standing outside the brown people's voting places and then arresting people before they can actually vote? That is the concern and worry, so that, they can't pass the redistricting. So California's got a lot of stuff going on. Illinois, a federal judge declined to block the deployment of the National Guard. Trump is saying that the National Guard will be there on Wednesday. So I will definitely be looking at that. And then the Insurrection Act. So I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to start with Oregon. I'm going to go through California, San Francisco, and then I'm Illinois, and Insurrection Act is probably going to be part 2. So, with all of that being said, for entertainment purposes only, I am going to be looking into Oregon. Is the National Guard going to be kept out of Oregon? Looking at using the military in Oregon. Okay, and with that, Oregon, a lot of disappointment. There's hope, so I'm kind of wondering if there isn't going to be some kind of, like, Trump says it, but yet the courts, say no. Like, it's that kind of disappointment and hope. It really encompasses this. So let's see what comes up next. Looking out into the future, ships coming in, ships going out. The challenge is messaging, and I just really like messaging about how we're using the military. And I think that the courts aren't happy with what they're seeing with this, or at least I'm asking specifically about Oregon. Yeah, these judges are not. The judges are like, show me the evidence. And I'm almost saying, like, what is it that you're seeing that you think that these cities are on fire, because they're not? And if they have to produce evidence of that, it'll show that it's from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7, whatever that was. So that's what this is like, the judges are going to be like, this is not, you have to prove it. Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence. Bring the receipts. And they're not, the quickly card of, the judges are going to be quick to shut this. The judges are going to be quick to shut this shit down there in Oregon. So let me just ask, will Oregon, and specifically Portland, remain a military-free zone? They're going to be be patient. It's like they're going to try to find another way around doing this. Well, they already have, and they're still working on it. They're going to try to find another way. So yeah, they're going to keep at it. I think that they're going to be kept at bay right now, because this is not the judge has quickly shut this down. The DOJ is where I'm seeing here is, we've got more up our sleeve. There's more things we can do. There's more things that we can try. Okay. So for right now, Portland is going to be okay. For now. Okay. Let me go on to California. As I said, the California one they're a little tied to Oregon. I don't know if they're in the same, is Oregon in that same 9th federal district? Is Gavin Newsom going to win upon appeal in the 9th Circuit, keeping the military out. Okay, and in California, what's going on there? The Hierophant, our government. This is also the spirit of our government, and this is. I'm feeling. This isn't what our government does. Our government, it does not. This is not going to be a military takeover of our cities. That's just not what happens in our government. That's what. That's the heart of this. And then the challenge is probably going to be Trump. Now, the challenge is they have no evidence. They're not providing the evidence needed to rise to the occasion of needing to militarize our cities. So I'm actually surprised any judge has said that this can go forward. Okay, especially with the redistricting. Bully wand, they're still... this is the messaging coming out of the White House with that bully wand. The betrayal of our Constitution. I mean, let's just get right to it. The betrayal of our Constitution and our laws by this administration. Yeah, the way they're misusing the law is right here. They don't have any evidence, and yet they're doing it anyway. And I have always said the people have a say. Okay, there's a glare on that. It's the judgment card. People uprising. People judging this administration, saying, you know, the horn of truth has sounded. We all see through, you know, we literally see through their shit, and they're like, no more. Okay, so the people have a say in this, and the people have about had it. Will California have free and fair elections without interference from ICE or the military? Will California have free and fair elections free from ICE and the military come November? What does the November elections look like there in California? This is that deck that's really hard to shuffle, so sorry about that. But I love the cards, so. Okay, as far as November elections in California, hesitation, fiery message. Let me see what else here. And how do we take care of people? How can we make sure people exercise their rights to vote? They're going to be able to vote. I mean, that's like ensuring people's rights to be able to vote. I wonder if Gavin Newsom doesn't use the National Guard in that way. Like he uses his own National Guard to counter what the Trump administration is trying to do. That, or the military isn't going to obey an illegal order. Yeah, how can we keep people safe so that they can have, you know, so that they can exercise their right to vote and making sure that they get to vote. So there is going to be a plan in place by the time California votes in that November election for that redistricting. These are all like, how can we keep people safe? How can we assure people? How can we make sure that they exercise their right to vote in spite of what, you know, this Trump administration is trying to do? So yeah, that they're going to have a plan in place. I'm just curious, because will Gavin Newsom use his own military, use the National Guard in his own state to provide security and safety to his citizens while they try to vote? I'll read that card here in just a second. Okay, and as far as using National Guard for that, oh, I want to see what that was. Victory, yeah, he may. There's going to be some kind of safety plan in place. There's going to be a plan in place for people to exercise their right to vote. Okay, that's what I can say. I don't know what that plan is, but expect more coming out with that. I don't even know when the early voting starts on that. So yeah, be watching for those messages of this is how we're going to run this election because of the interference from the Trump administration. They're going to be running interference there to make sure that people do get to exercise their right to vote. Okay. San Francisco. I do want to see this since somebody asked about that. Is San Francisco going to be militarized? far as San Francisco, they're talking about it. They're looking at how can they make this happen. Planning, I kind of like see the talking, it's a progression. These are progressions, because this is the two wands, the three of wands, and the ten of swords. I don't think that they are. It's like they talk about it. There's a progression to like make the plans to do it, and then there's just like the stop, like, no, you shall not pass. It's kind of what I'm feeling with that. So let me, why is this stopped? There's a good question. Why is this Ten of Swords? Tell me more about this Ten of Swords. Okay, and that Ten of Swords, more on that. Something that we can't see, something that's hidden right now, a situation that's ever changing, that's bringing about stability, security, happiness, and quickly. I wonder, I'm going to come back to the Quantico meeting. Okay, if you're watching and you're like, I want to know about, all my questions. The question here is, I don't think that they're going to militarize San Francisco. There's something else like happening behind the scenes that we don't see. I wonder if it's tying into this, what they saw there in Quantico. The military saw what happened, and I don't know, like if he tries invoking the Insurrection Act, I do not see our military being used against American citizens in the way that Trump wants them to be used. Okay, I will say that. So how do I want to ask this? I'm going to come back. If you ask this question, I am going to come back to this, but right now, so no, it doesn't look like San Francisco at this moment is going to be militarized. I'm doing pretty good on time, so I want to just kind of keep on with this. I won't break it into two. Illinois, federal judge declined to block the deployment of the National Guard. Will the National Guard be there by Wednesday? Trump is saying Wednesday, so that's why. Is this going to be, will the military be there by Wednesday in Chicago? And Wednesday in Chicago, planning, but this is someone who is not, the very first thing that I saw here was, this is someone who is like, they're tired of waiting. And so, it's like things haven't come to fruition as quickly as what they want. That's what I'm seeing with that. And we have a little visitor over here. Let me pull this up for you. There's Schrodinger. Oh, jump up there. I hope he doesn't get in the middle of this reading, because he's a really big cat and kind of hard to move. Chicago. It's almost like waiting for the right time, working on this, working on making this happen. And the Magician. These aren't big movement cards. So let me just ask again. If this is all about creation and creating it, it's all based on a lie. So will the military be there on Wednesday? That, or they're there and they're only like guarding the federal building, and there's like not that many of them. The military is not being used in the best, most effective way at all. It's all based on lies. I don't know that. Okay. I'm not really getting a definitive answer here with this. It's like there's plans to do it, but there's not a lot of movement card here. It feels like the biggest message I'm getting is like Trump is terrorizing the blue cities. That's what he's doing. He has declared war on the American people because he knows we didn't vote for him, and he's like, this is what he's doing. He's threatening the militarization to try to terrorize these cities, and that it just doesn't have the effect that he thinks that it will have. So if they're there, I'm not seeing it be, I'm just not seeing it being like a big, I know it's a big thing, but I don't know that they're going to be there on Wednesday. I mean, he wants to do it. I'm just not seeing that. Or they're in such a small area, like they can only be at the federal buildings. Like they're not just roaming the streets. That's what I'm saying is like, we're not going to see that part of it. I think it's very localized. It's very, very specific as to where they're going to be. Okay. This is Trump going to invoke the Insurrection Act because these judges are shutting him down, telling him no, and you know he's not one for consent. Is he going to try to invoke the Insurrection Act? And he wants to. I mean, that's Stephen Miller's wet dream right there, is the Insurrection Act. So is that going to be what is happening? So he can just bypass all of the courts altogether. Okay. Is he going to, I mean, like, is he actually not want to? I know he wants to. And I know Stephen Miller, you know, he wants to. But are they actually going to follow through with it? Okay. Waiting, wanting to do it, the Hanged Man. This is not an action card. It's also one of looking at things in a different light. Holding on to political power. I feel like this will be, if he does this, it's a last-ditch effort to hold on to power. That's what, like, he's waiting, and that's to hold on to political power. That is the challenge that is crossing him. So I think that if he does this, it is the clear sign that this administration is coming to an end. Okay, so a lot of this stuff that happens, and I got that in the energy reading, it was like things aren't falling out of place, they're falling in place. And so, like, the more pressure he places, the more people fight back, the more people push back, and that the more horrible things he does, that's just making people more mad. And remember, it is not in the DNA of the American people to be ruled by some little wannabe dictator. I mean, it's just not gonna, he's delusional. That's what he is. He is absolutely fucking delusional if he thinks that the American people are going to be, like, stand for this. We're not. Okay, I mean, he's already losing the MAGA influencers. He's like, I mean, people are not happy. Okay, Insurrection Act. Oh, he feels justified. He's going to do this all in the name of our country. Well, you know, fuck you, Stephen Miller. He is so, oh my God, the feelings I'm getting. Okay. Before, whenever I would be reading on Trump, and like his brain was all kind of like, it was difficult because he was like all over the place. Right now, the way it is, it's not sane, okay? It is not sane what they are doing, what they're thinking, what they're saying. Every time I see that vile little cockroach Stephen Miller, I just, seriously, it's like, shut the fuck up. I mean, I turn the TV, I can't even listen to him. Even on the clips of podcasters, I can't listen to it. Because that is just, wow. So they have every intention of doing it. It's all based on lies and the damn circus in this card, the 7 of, swords. And see back here, you've got the circus tents. Like, what can we get away with? We're running the country like a damn circus, and what can we get away with? This is the foxes loose in the hen house, so it's all the lies is what is coming into this. And the outcome, the Queen of Swords, this is going to be, yeah, he not a lot of action cards. So is he wants to, he's all, you know, this is all, Stephen Miller's got him all riled up. And so this is wanting to use our military in the Insurrection Act. Is he going to actually declare the Insurrection Act? Looking out into the future, making the plans, agreements. Once again, not action cards. There he is, thinking he's all that in a bag of chips, and he embodies the government. He embodies something, but government is not what that is. And he's a burden. if he tries this, just know that it is a sign that the end is nigh, okay? That is just, it's not, so it's almost like if he does that, it's like shit's getting real, and that the pushback will be instantaneous. I want to know, will our military obey that order? And then if you're watching and you asked about San Francisco and the GOP congressional members in Quantico, I'm going to ask that here after I ask this. So will our military, is that the order that they're not going to obey? Because there's no insurrection. There's no reason for him to do this other than Stephen Miller's wet dream. I swear to God, if I'm ever put on trial for, my freedom of speech, I will say at least I was funny and snarky. No, we're not going to get there at all. That's not going to happen. Yeah, no. But, what was it? It's a military. That's it. I was like, what am I asking? Military. Is the military going to obey the order if he tries to enact the Insurrection Act? And I'm going to just do 3 cards. People rise up. I just said, it's like, nope, we are not having this. We are not having this. We are not having this. No. So there's no action here. It's like the people rise up. This is like the military's going, we're not doing that. And, you can just, basically, what is that? Instead of do not obey in advance, you say, fuck you, make me. That's what I'm feeling with that. So that's not going to happen. Okay, real quick here. The congressional members. Is there anyone in MAGA that was just as horrified as the rest of us by what they saw at that meeting? Is there any GOP? They haven't spoke out if they, at least not that I'm aware of, if they have. Is there any of them that are waking up to, like, were they horrified by what they saw? And with that, hold on one moment. Okay, sorry about that. I had people needing to use the kitchen before they left and for an evening activity, and so now I'm back. They have left the building. Okay, so I was asking about what did the congressional members think of this? This is messaging, looking out into the future, like what are we going to do? I think there's conversations being had. And they were not happy. They were pretty horrified by what they saw. I've been getting this also with the government shutdown. So I think that right now, it's like they've got the challenge to what they saw is that they're dealing with the government shutdown right now. So I don't know that there's any, there's not any action going to be taken with what they saw because they've got their hands full with, the government shutdown. Yeah, they do not take Pete Hegseth, Kegsbreath there serious. They see him as like a little wannabe toy soldier. Okay, so yeah, they saw that for what it's worth, for what it is. Shine a light into the darkness. How are they going forward? What decisions are they making? But they're not going to do any the hesitation. Okay. Let me just kind of look at this for a minute. They all saw it. They know it's a joke. Pete Hegseth is not to be taken serious. They've got their own hands full. 5 of Swords, winning at all costs. They are not... Okay. And then the hesitation. Okay, as far as the members of the GOP, at this point, they saw it. There have been talks amongst some of them about what they saw, and yes, they're horrified. They don't take, Kegsbreath serious at all. This is like little toy soldier. Look at me. Okay, if you've been here for a while, you know how I read this card, which is this is someone who's not. You do not go into battle with this person. Okay, and that's what Kegsbreath was just. I mean, that was an embarrassment. That's what that was. And right now, it's kind of like they are. These 2 cards together, and this was the foundation, and then this was, the recent events. I think that I get this feeling like they're not ready to act, okay? They're not ready to act on what they saw. They they have their hands full with the with other things, like with congressional things. That's like they've got their hands full with congressional things. They don't have time to think, worry about, what happened there in the military. And then this is fiery message. Like they may say, they actually won't. It's like they may say things like behind closed doors between each other with their colleagues, but they're not going to make any public statements. Okay. And I wonder if they will change their mind if Trump tries to use the Insurrection Act. Will they change their minds? Will they actually speak out if he tries to use the Insurrection Act? They only care about political power and battle weary, and they've said, they're terrified. It's like, okay, we'll do something. You can do something about it. But they're wanting to hold on to their political power. They're also looking at their legacy. So if they jump off the Trump train, it's because that Trump train is like already going off the side of a cliff and they're trying to save their own asses. That's what I'm feeling with these two cards. Alrighty. And yeah, they're only going to make the decision when they're forced to make a decision. They're only going to stand up when they're forced to do so, when it's obvious that this Trump administration is coming to an end. Then all of a sudden they will have found Jesus and be, saying, oh, all the stuff that they need to do to save their own skin. Okay, let's just see our country. This is not the message of our country, and that I'm just looking here. Our country, what's being offered, what's being said, and the victory. Yeah, they're going to wait. They will wait until it serves their purpose for their political future before they say anything. Well, alrighty then. So yeah, as far as GOP, they really do have their hands full with other things. I don't see them really speaking out until he tries. It's not even with the Insurrection Act. It's the what follows afterwards with that. And that if I'm not even getting a strong, he wants to, and Stephen Miller's, fed him all the lies that he needs to feed him in order to make that happen. However, if Trump does that, we're all going to take a collective deep breath. And we're going to know that that is a sign that this administration is well on its way to being done, because I feel like that is going to be that final thing that Trump does when he's backed in a corner and he knows it's over. And I don't know that our military will obey that order. Okay, because it's not so much that it's an illegal order; it's an unnecessary. There's no insurrection. There is no insurrection, and that Trump wants to use it for an ongoing occupation of whatever thought floats through his brain at that moment is where he would send the troops. And I just don't see our military agreeing to be used in that manner. So that's good to see. As far as the states go, it is going to be, I just see it just being this constant, trying to, literally, well, I can't use the Oregon National Guard, so I'll use the California National Guard. And the judge is like, what part of no did you not understand? Well, every part of the word no is what he doesn't understand. So just expect more of that. It feels like it's, putting out little fires all over the place and our Supreme Court's not going to do anything about it. They're going to give Trump whatever he wants. So just, forget anything from them. I really think it's going to come down to our military's not going to obey an illegal order. Okay. However that looks, that's what we're going to be watching for, is how is the military going to respond? And I just don't see them. I don't see them liking how they're being used by Trump and Stephen Miller. So that's what I got today. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'll put some other readings up here for you to check out. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a great day.